So anyway, I was watching this video, and on it, this guy was talking about all these artifacts that they had found in these coal seams, like mining for coal. For those of you that don't know, anyway, um, and they were talking about how they found all these artifacts. Now, it's amazing the things that they are finding, but then they date this stuff to like 400. This is 450 million years old. I'm like, how do you know that? You know, and I know. Okay, carbon 14 dating, whatever. First of all, carbon 14 dating is it's been I don't want to say debunked, but it's unreliable. Okay, it's been proven to be very unreliable. And then they've got the potassium dating or whatever. Now, I'm not going to get into all that. It's fine, whatever. I'm not an expert there. Don't claim to be. All I'm saying is that those methods of dating artifacts have been proven faulty. Okay? And besides, I'm like 450 million years. Well, why don't we just go for 500 million? Just, make it even, right? Or hell, why stop there? Let's go for, I don't know, a billion years. Why not, right? You see what I'm saying? It's like once you get so far, once you get so many, those astronomical numbers, it doesn't even matter anymore. And anyway, that's not really the point I'm making. Point is, if these things are that old, or even anywhere near it, even 1/100th that old, then I would say that they are from a previous cycle in this construct. It's very possible that this construct has been used repeatedly for, we'll call it a cycle, right? So, meaning, well, okay, and I am a simulation theorist. That doesn't necessarily mean I believe we live inside of a computer right now, okay? But if we did, but I'm not opposed to that theory either. All I'm saying, if we were to live inside of a computer, then we are here willingly. We're on the outside. We are in here in a simulated reality, much like what, just putting on the, what are those things? The, like with the metaverse thing, whatever. And, that's not that far-fetched of a technology. And it's kind of like if you were like a lion who is born into captivity, is born in a zoo. Does it know it's living in a zoo? Does it know it's not living in its natural habitat? Does this lion know that it really belongs out on the savannas or plains or whatever of Africa? No. All it knows is the zoo. That's it. It's never seen anything else. To that lion, that zoo is the world. So, if you jack yourself into a simulated reality, then that would be your world. That would be all you know. You wouldn't know any different. Unless, in that reality, you started developing simulations there. Then you might think, holy shit, what if this is the same thing as that, but just on a more advanced scale, right? Anyway, so I'm not opposed to the whole we're living inside a computer thing. That's fine. We can go there if you want. In fact, you could be here living out an entire lifetime in a shift at work. This could be your job. You could every day go in, hit the clock, get jacked into your simulation, live an entire lifetime. Then your avatar dies. You come out of it, take the headset off, you clock out, and you go back home. That's always, that's what would be the purpose of that? Well, it could be lots of reasons. Why do we run simulations now? We run simulations for lots of things so that we can try to figure things out. asteroids out in space. Let's simulate that out real fast for 500 years. What's that asteroid going to do? So they run 500 years of simulation of that thing orbiting or whatever, and say, okay, good. For the next 500 years, if it stays on the trajectory that it's on, and Earth does too, then there's no chance of that thing hitting the Earth. Right? And then they also do simulations for weather events. It's like, they take a certain region of America or whatever. They take a certain region of geography. And they say, okay, this is the weather for the past 200 years in that area. So let's simulate out the next 400 years and see what's going to happen, just based on what we know. Those simulations would be ran so that they can determine what they might expect. Or they may introduce something into it, say, well, what if we were to do this? I don't know. Let's run a simulation and see how it goes. So they do the thing that they're talking about doing, and they simulate it out 400 years, and then they may find, oh, crap, we probably shouldn't do that because at around 250 years, the wheels come off and everybody dies, or whatever. There's lots of reasons to run simulations. I believe it's more of a spiritual thing. We're here to develop and grow. Much like Jason Brashears of Archaics talks about, we are immortal beings. We are here to develop and grow. Plus, it might be kind of boring out there. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like what Elon Musk says. In a movie, you don't play everything that's going on in the world. In a movie, you cram everything, all the really best parts of, say, if the movie spans a month. Well, you're seeing that entire month in a 2-hour movie. So obviously they're cutting some parts out. Anyway, so it may be boring out there. Let me check my notes. So this construct that we're in, the recorded history, and I am by no means an expert here either, but the recorded history, the history that we know of, that's been written. It's like 7, 8, maybe 9,000 years. And no, I'm not one of those crazy Noah's Ark people that thinks that God created the earth 7,000 years ago. Or whatever they think. No. But I do believe that this cycle in this construct may be about that old. 7, 8, 9,000 years, whatever it is. I can't remember exactly. So I do believe that. And then it's like, well, where do all those artifacts come from that are found in geography or whatever, that they're found in coal seams and things like that? Well, those are left over from previous constructs, from previous cycles in this construct. And you think, well, if it's all simulated, why would there be any left remnants from that to this if it's all just in a computer simulated? Well, you don't buy a new server every time you do something, plug in a different game, do you? No, you can keep using the same server. It's like you run a cycle. Okay, that's over. Reset. Big cataclysm kills the whole world. Okay. Now we bring it back. Okay, let's repopulate. Let's put people back in and all that kind of stuff, right? And then there may be remnants left over on that server from previous cycles. Now, like for example, when you go to wipe your computer, if you do a factory reset on your computer, you think, okay, I've got this thing set back. Everything that was on my computer before is gone. That's not true. You can ask any geek and they'll tell you, no, anything that's ever been done on that computer, there's still a trace of it. Call them fossils, right? I mean, let's just call it that. Let's call it a fossil left on your computer from before you did your factory reset. So, it's like, well, if this is a simulation, then what are we doing out there? I don't know. That could be a simulation too. Maybe we're trying to figure out, maybe this simulation, right, is us on the outside trying to figure out how to get out of that one. It's like, well, let's run a simulation where we figure out a way to get out of it, or figure out a way to beat the system so that we can then beat the system here. Only to find out it's simulation on top of simulation on top of simulation. And I've said this, talked about this in the podcast, that life is a dream. We're in the mind of the Creator. It's God's dream. And then we are having our own dream, because there you go. So it's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream forever. Amen. Right? Same difference. We may find one day that there is no base reality. We may find that all we are is just a field of consciousness. An awareness that became aware of itself. Consciousness, awareness, a personality, that just, the I am. It just, that's all it is. Well, what is it? It's just I am. That's simple existence. I am. And that's all it takes, is for you to realize I exist. What are you? I just am. I am that I am. So there may be no base reality. If we were to rewind it all the way back and got, let's say we went back 500 simulations deep and realized, God, this is just a never-ending cycle. But maybe we found the end, right? We found the end. We're like, wow, this must be where the base reality is, because this is the first simulation. And we get out of that and we realize there's just nothing. It's just existence. When I say nothing, I don't mean nothing. I just mean we don't have a simulated world around us. We just realize all I am is I am. So, that's that. And some people think that that's scary, because it's like, well, if this is just God's dream, or the dream of the Creator, or whatever you want to call your higher power, or whatever you want to call what's making you, you. It's not scary. It's like, well, what if God wakes up from the dream? Well, there you go. That's thinking in a very linear way. Because if God were to wake up from the dream, then that would imply that there is such a thing as time. See, in the Kabbalion, which I'm reading, they currently, it's around here somewhere. It doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. I highly recommend you get yourself a copy of this. It's like $8. Anyway, in the Kabbalion, it says that these things take eons, eons upon eons upon eons. But to the Creator, it's the twinkling of an eye. It's an instant. Actually, it's not even that. It's one thought. The amount of time it takes you to have a thought is that. It's like, well, I'm kind of slow thinker. Well, that's in your 3D. You're this third dimensional avatar's brain, not your true higher self, your real self's brain. You are an immortal, spiritual being. And you are here to learn, in my opinion, to be a creator as well. And to return back to the Creator with experiences. Because we can dream up concepts and ideas and stuff all day long, but until you actually experience them for real, then it's just a concept. It's not an experience. So, at some point, then again, that's thinking linearly, and also at no point in time, the great I am basically woke up, said, holy shit, I am. Here I am. And here you are. It's a lot to wrap your head around because we, with our 3D avatar brain, can't think in terms of that, right? We can't think in terms of millions of years or lifetimes or layers upon layers of simulated reality. So, do I think we're living in a computer simulation right here in this, what I'm communicating, this avatar that I'm communicating to you through? Maybe. I mean, whatever. That's not even what's important. And it's possible. It's very possible because everything is too perfect. Everything is too cyclical. If we were in a what they would consider a natural world, things would not be as patterned as they are. Just think about that. Anyway, loved ones, I love you. And I got a new podcast coming up. I was editing it now. I just kind of took a break because I wanted to get that out. And I will see you directly.